Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to Irish Quarantine Tunes Day 39. It is April 29th, 2020 here in Madison, Wisconsin on a dreary, gloomy, rainy day. So hopefully I'll cheer you up a little bit. Actually, I'm going to start with a very kind of slow and sad waltz. So who knows? It's called Neil Gauss' Lament, or actually the full name is Neil Gauss' Lament on the death of his second wife. It's a Scottish tune. Neil Gauss was a fiddle player and composer, probably one of Scotland's most famous fiddle players back around 1780 in Edinburgh. All right, this goes out to my friend Gloria down in Florida because she was just playing this yesterday on Facebook Live on her hammered dulcimer, and she said she'd play along, so hopefully she's going to join in. So. Neil Gauss' Lament, a very old Scottish tune composed by Neil Gauss as a lamentation on the death of his second wife. Don't know her name. So you know that's Scottish and not Irish for one reason and one reason only. And that's that in Ireland, the syncopation always occurs in this way, like a hornpipe. So in other words, the long part and then the short part. Bump, 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 bump. In Scotland, it's the opposite. So in this case, it went. So it's short, long, short, long. They have both kinds, but you don't have the short, long in Irish music. So it's very distinctive. When you hear a Scottish player, they do a lot of that. All that kind of short, long stuff. So something about fiddling. All right, I'm going to try to sing a song next, and this goes out to Darrell, who's listening, because I learned it from him. And I believe he learned it from the singing of Len Graham. There are other versions out there. It's been collected for many years. It's called The Little Pack of Tailors. It's kind of a children's song, or a little, they talk about, Irish mothers bouncing their babies on their knee and singing this old song. The melody is an Irish reel, an old Irish reel called The Wind That Shakes the Barley. Not to be confused with a song called The Wind That Shakes the Barley or many other versions, but this is the reel. And Len Graham, many years ago, he's still alive. He's, I think, around 74, 75. Great singer. And he was in Madison along with Cathal McConnell doing a show here, and they came down to Mickey's on a Wednesday night. And it was late at night. We'd been playing, and Bill the piper had maybe had a little too much to drink. There was a pitcher of ice water on the table. He knocked it over and spilled the entire contents onto Len Graham. We'll never forget that night. All right, so Little Pack of Tailors. This is a little bit of a geography lesson about Ireland, because it mentions 4 of the largest cities in Ireland and the rivers that run through them. So the Liffey runs through Dublin, the Corrib in Galway over the west coast, the Lee, the lovely Lee, down in Cork in the south, and then the Lagan River up in Belfast, up in the north of Ireland. So, all right, so it's a funny little song. I'll just tell you the words before I sing it so you can understand them. Oh, won't you oh, how you rattle me, oh, how you chase me, oh, how you rattle me, you little pack of tailors. I went up to Dublin, I met a little tailor. I put him in me pocket for fear the dog would eat him. The dog began to bark, and I began to bait him. I put him in the Liffey for fear the dog would eat him. So it just goes on and on like that for the different cities and rivers. So, to the tune of The Wind That Shakes the Barley, from the singing of Len Graham. Hope he forgives us for dousing him in ice water. Chase me, oh how they rattle me. Little pack of tailors, oh how they rattle me. Oh how they chase me, oh how they rattle me. Little pack of tailors, I went up to Dublin, I met a little tail. Put him in my pocket for fear the dog would eat him. Dog began to bark, and I began to bait him. Put him in the Liffey for fear the dog would eat him. Oh, how you chase me, oh, how you rattle me. Little pack of tailors, oh, how you rattle me. Little gotta chase me, oh, how you rattle me. Little pack of tailors, I went up to Galway, I met a little tailor. Put him in me pocket for fear the dog would eat him. Dog began to bark, so I began to bait him. Put him in the Corrib for fear the dog would eat him. You chase me, oh how you rattle me. Little pack of tailors, oh how you rattle me. Oh how you chase me, oh how you rattle me. Little pack of tailors, I went up to Cork, I met a little tailor. Put him in me pocket for fear the dog would eat him. Dog began to bark, I began to bait him. I put him in the Lee for fear the dog would eat him. Oh how you rattle me, oh how you chase me, oh how you rattle me. Little pack of tailors, I went up to Belfast and met a little tailor. Put him in me pocket for fear the dog would eat him. Dog began to bark, I began to bait him. Put him in the Lagan for fear the dog would eat him. All right, there you go. For Darrell and for Len Graham, the little pack of tailors. So, a children's song with a geography lesson. So, awesome. Let's see what else to say about today. I'm going to do something I don't think I've done at all in all these 39 days, which is to play some slides. Actually, I guess I played Merrily Kiss the Quaker, but I don't think any other slides yet. So slides are basically just jigs, but instead of being in 6/8, they're in 12/8, and they tend to be played a little faster, often down in the sleeve lucre area between carry and cork, and also other parts of the southwest of Ireland, often on squeeze box, and they're really fun to play. The problem is there's so many of them that I can never remember the names or how to start them, and so I usually only play them with other people, which is fun, but it's been difficult to figure out how to do it here. So I finally figured out the names of two of them and remembered how they start so I can play them together. They're called Denis Murphy's and the Labyrinth. It's funny because I always think of every slide as being called O'Keefe's because it seems like a lot of them have that name, but not these two. So, all right, some slides for you. So. A couple of slides for you from the southwest part of Ireland. Slides and polkas tend to be played together, very lively. You can imagine the dancers clomping around in their hard shoes and just having a grand old time. When you listen to the recordings, there's often people hooting and hollering in the background. So, all right, I'm going to do a song now. I should have probably waited another week and a half till Mother's Day because this is a song that I first learned to play on Mother's Day for a show. I learned it from my friend back in Ann Arbor, Gretchen Broman, and it's called Dancing at Whitsun. I also first heard it sung by Priscilla Herdman, who's an Australian folk singer who used to come to the Ark in Ann Arbor. But Gretchen and I would do a show for several years on Mother's Day because, as many of you know, Mother's Day was not originally about flowers and Hallmark cards. It was actually Mother's Day for peace, and it was It was created to call for an end to armed conflict. So this song, so we did this show at West Park at the Band Shell in Ann Arbor, which I'm remembering now is the same location that I think in around 1968 or 69 there was a famous concert there organized by John Sinclair and Tom Hayden and some of the other SDS and Huron Statement folks, and I think it had like MC5 and maybe the Grateful Dead and I don't know, Bob Seger, Iggy Pop, all the folks from around Detroit, maybe Country Joe and the Fish. I can't remember, but it was apparently an amazing thing. I was 5 years old, so I was not there. But it's the same band shell, so it was kind of cool that we got to play there. All right, so this song is called Dancing at Whitsun. It was written by an Englishman named John Austin Marshall. And tells the story of the World War I, when all the villages in the Cotswolds in south west of England that had their individual Morris dances that would be done that were different in every single village, and they were always done by the men, dressed in white with the ribbons, and of course around May Day and other times, and Whitsun, So the story in the song is that these dances would have actually died out and been lost if it weren't for the fact that the women in the villages took up the sticks and the dancing and replaced the men who were off at war. So it's a great song, and I've read different reports that it may not be historically accurate, but it's a great song anyway, and here we go, Dancing at Whitsun. So. Springtimes since she was a bride, but still you may see her at each Whitsun Tie in a dress of white ribbons, and a dress of white linen and ribbons of green as her memories of loving. The feet that were nimble tread carefully now, as gentle a measure as age will allow, through groves of white blossoms, by fields of young corn, where once she was pledged to her true love. The fields they stand empty, the hedges grow free, no young men to tend them, the pastures go seed. They're gone where the forests of oak trees once stood, gone to be wasted in battle. Down from the green farmlands and from their loved young ones marched husbands and brothers, fathers and sons. There's a fine roll of honor where the maple once stood, but the ladies go dancing at Whitsun. There's a straight row of houses latter days, all covering the downs where the sheep used to graze. There's a field of red poppies and a wreath from the Queen, but the ladies remember it's Whitsun, and the ladies go dancing at Whitsun. I don't remember the specifics, but Whitsun Tide, I believe, is a certain number of weeks after Easter, so it's kind of around this time of year, maybe coming up in May or so. Not sure. All right, so hope everybody's having a great day. I want to give a shout out today to all the healthcare workers, all the EMTs, the nurses, the docs, the folks doing the biological research on vaccines, everybody. I wore a shirt in honor of that today that I got from giving blood at the Red Cross, and just want to support the Red Cross and being a blood donor. It's funny because I actually have a habit for the last many years of getting my hair cut and giving blood every 8 weeks. And so both of them were scheduled right around the time the pandemic and the quarantine hit. So let's see, I was supposed to give blood on March 20th. That got canceled over at Union South. I was supposed to get a haircut by my buddy Avisha on the March 27th, and that got canceled. So I'm getting shaggy, and I'm wishing that I could be out there giving blood. I'm going to see if I can find out a way to do it even now that we're not, now that I'm not in a household that has any symptoms, hopefully. So we'll see. And you want to shout out to all my Facebook friends that are in the healthcare field. You're all doing wonderful stuff, and we really appreciate you. We wouldn't be getting through this without you, and we know that it's endangering your own lives. So thank you. All right. I'm going to finish off with a couple of reels. We used to play these all the time down at Mickey's. The first one is called The Hunter's Purse, and the second one is The Star of Munster. Of course, Munster is one of the 4 provinces of Ireland. You've probably heard of Munster cheese and probably eaten it. So, but... that was fun. I just wish I had a whole bunch of other folks to play with me. All right, take care, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. We're going to get through this. Tomorrow is day 40, which is actually 40 giorni, the Italian words 40 days for what the ships were quarantined back in the day when they had to wait in the harbor before they could come on shore. Let's see. Take care of yourselves. Be well, and love you and care about you. And good thing we have community and getting us through this. So sweet. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care. See you tomorrow.